I've come to the realization that growth is something people hardly welcome, though they deeply desire it. There is no well intended person, someone who has good intention towards themselves, who you would ask if they desire to grow, that their first or immediate response will be no. The answer is always yes.
I will face them one by one, and they will see what will happen.
See, however, the real issue lies not in the desire to grow, but in the resistance to the process required to achieve it.
All light from him, I hear what you talk. You say waiting.
You see, growth requires discomfort. And one of the most immediate form of discomfort is feedback. People don't like feedback. A significant number of people struggle with receiving correction. When feedback is given, a significant number of people shift from what is the main issue to how the issue was addressed.
Let's have it. Let's have it.
You see, psychology knows it as threat response. It's just the way the brain defense mechanism kicks in, especially when constructive feedback is being given, and it sees it as attack. They see feedback as an attempt to attack their personality. Now, instead of embracing the correction, they instinctively protect their identity.
Look, when you pluck a fruit, wait till it ripes before you eat.
Only people who truly care about us make the effort to correct us. Because constructive feedback requires some level of emotion, some level of effort, and most importantly, risk. Because not everybody responds well to constructive feedback. Someone who truly has no genuine concern for your growth will often choose silence. It is easier to ignore flaws than to address them. Therefore, correction, when done with sincerity, is rarely an act of hostility. It is more often an act of care. You see, many people fail to see it this way. Now, instead of receiving it, they resist. Some become cold. Some even go as far as punishing you for correcting them, making it even more difficult for you to make the effort to do so the next time. See, not all resistance to feedback is loud and obvious. Some of the most dangerous forms are quiet and disguised. Okay. One common pattern is delayed dismissal. Initially, the person might seem to accept it and appear receptive. However, over time, they began to trivialize it and turn it into a joke. Now, this helps them to avoid the discomfort of change, while maintaining the illusion of openness. Another pattern people employ is performative growth. Now, instead of applying the correction and allowing themselves go through the process that is required for actual change, they position themselves as if they are better than the correction. They elevate themselves above the criticism. Maybe in terms of posture, social signaling, without undergoing the internal work required for actual change. See, don't get me wrong, growth is not a comfortable process. This is a fact we must accept. The thing is, meaningful growth occurs outside the comfort zone, whether it be skill acquisition or emotional maturity or even character development. Discomfort is not a side effect. It is a requirement. To grow, a person must accept uncomfortable truth and accept the limitations about themselves. So you must be willing to submit to the process. And I must confess, it might lower your sense of competence, to be honest. But see, that is where a lot of people struggle. Not because they don't have the desire, but because they lack the tolerance for discomfort. And true growth begins the moment we substitute truth over ego. That's it. You see, the actual shift is from defensiveness to curiosity. Now, this is the foundation of meaningful transformation. In my own opinion, and this is my opinion, growth is less about external improvement and more about internal honesty. Because without honesty, any form of feedback sounds like noise. So now this brings me back to my first statement. Everybody wants growth, but not everybody is willing to be corrected. Now, until a person becomes teachable, I mean truly teachable, growth remains an idea they admire and not a reality they experience. You see, like I mentioned earlier, one of the damaging patterns a person can develop is to punish those who try to correct them. When you become too hostile towards correction, you create an environment where nobody's willing to even correct you. But for those of us who have come to know the Holy Spirit, we will know that is a gentle spirit. He is not willing to impose his will on us, even when our life is in danger. He will still guide us, but he will never force us to do what is necessary. Please, don't create an environment where growth does not exist. When you constantly are hostile to those who try to correct you, or even go as far as punishing them for bringing up things you do, what you do is create an environment that is unteachable.
Don't try it again.
You see, the natural thing is that human behavior adapt quickly to emotional consequence. Nobody wants to get punished for helping you. Instead of helping you, they stay silent or tell you what you want to hear, or even distance themselves completely. See, without truth, growth becomes impossible. Correction is a gift, but only when you choose to recognize it as such. And if you don't see correction as a gift, you will always interpret it as an attack. If you keep rejecting correction, eventually people will stop offering it. And immediately correction disappears. What do you think will follow? Growth. You see, your ego may protect you temporarily, but at the long run, it's only limiting you.
Scared for my life. My heart is beating fast. My heart is beating fast.
Stop being overly defensive when you're being corrected. Take the correction. It will help you. It doesn't matter the form, shape, or style in which it comes. If it works, then you need it. If it's helpful, then you need it. Always ensure you go for what's best for you and not what seems best. I hope this helps.